upset. You were in Jacksonville last week, and you got them all fired up, SVP.
Well,
why can't we get you out here to Arrowhead to fire up the KC crowd?
If you ask, it's a family thing. My wife's from Jacksonville. They made a request. I mean, you know some people. You want me to bang on the drum? I'll do it. They never asked. That's all I'm saying.
Here we go. You're right. But I'll tell you what, this Lions team, man, hats off to them. A short week for us at least, and it's always tough, man. But we know the Dan Campbell's kind of toughness. It's ingrained in that defense and that offense, and we were fired up to get to experience that challenge this week. And Coach Reed did a great job of getting these guys ready, and we went out there and put up a 30 ball on that defense, and that's not an easy thing to do, man.
When I spoke with Joe and Troy after the game Monday, which I do every Monday Night Football, and I looked at the stat sheet, and you all had 13 penalties. I couldn't believe it. You had none tonight. How much of a focus was it, Travis, to just clean up the things that you all are in control of?
Yeah, I mean, penalties and turnovers are going to ruin you in this league, man, and everybody knows it's no secret. And it was a bit embarrassing seeing how many flags we had last week. So it was a huge focus point this week, and I can't tell you how proud I am of these guys, both offense, defense, special teams especially. Finding a way to get the job done and doing it within the framework of the game, man.
You all get Rasheed back next week, and you all are back to 3-3. Reports of your demise greatly exaggerated. How would you sort of describe, Travis, what the focus of your group is with the coming weeks ahead of your bye, and sort of where you feel like you are now with the understanding you got a lot of runway ahead of you?
I mean, the thing is, in this building, man, you get challenged every single week, so you don't really pay attention to the record. You don't pay attention to who you got next. It's all based on it's all based on the now. And I think Coach Reed does a great job of challenging us week in, week out to get ready for that opponent. And I'm just excited to get my guy Rasheed back in the building. What he means as a player, as a person, and to this community, man. We missed having him out here on the field for the first couple games this year, but I'm excited to get him back out there. And I mean, if we're putting up 30 balls without him out there, it's gonna get rocking and rolling when he gets back out.
What'd your defense do best in the second half of this game? Because as great as that Dan Campbell-led group is on the defensive side, that offense it's so versatile. They got so many options, so many weapons. So what's the thing that you feel like that group did best tonight?
Our defense, Spags, does a great job of challenging these guys and making the corrections. And I think it starts with that core group inside, the linebackers, Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquil, guys like Leo Chenal, man. Those guys kind of rally around the D-line and the DBs and get on the same page. And it looked like they were playing real sound defense and just flying around. It looked like they kind of had a tick on where the ball was going there in the second half. And that's just, that's great coaching and guys being alert and locked into their keys and stuff, man, and just playing their tail off, man. And when we play all four quarters with toughness and energy and alertness and that kind of fuel and that kind of fire, man, we know we're a tough team to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys are still the measuring stick that everybody's going to judge themselves against. And, we're going to be out there in a couple of weeks for Monday Night Football. I look forward to that. But I'm realizing saying I'll bang on that drum. If I do that, I'll never be allowed to come back home to Washington where I'm from. So I don't know if I can do it. I'm just going to keep my head down, try to do my job, lean on your brother, let him be great, carry me for a couple of hours and not bother anybody. Is that fair? Is that a deal?
All right, listen, that's what Jason does, baby. Just follow his footsteps. I've been following him my whole life, man. Just follow his footsteps. You'll be good to go.
No doubt. Hey,
can't wait to see you out here.
Thanks for taking the time. We'll see you in a couple weeks for Monday Night Football. Congrats on the dub tonight, and I appreciate you always, man. Thank you.
All right, SVP. You're the best, baby.
This week, buddy, you are earning your keep, bouncing around all over the country. Some very ambitious travel hours, so thank you for being here. Patrick Mahomes has always been very, very difficult to defend. But what did the Chiefs do on Sunday against the Lions that was maybe unique that no one else would or could do?
Yeah, I just think that there's always wrinkles in their offense. That's the brilliance of Andy Reid. Mahomes is hard, just dropping back. He could scramble, he could throw the ball off platform, all that stuff. But here's what they did down on the goal line. They're going to work a double team on Aiden Hutchinson. And then what's going to happen is Pacheco's going to step this way. Mahomes is going to open up that way. That's going to get influence on this linebacker. And then what they end up doing off of this is they end up running speed option. So Mahomes is going to come back, Pacheco's going to wind back. And as we play this forward, when you're the Lions, you're not thinking, oh, here comes Mahomes running the option on the goal line. You play option football, you need, somebody's got the pitch, somebody's got the quarterback. Well, that's not what you're working on all week, which is why it's a walk-in touchdown. So that's one area. Then how about the RPO game? So a lot of times when you run RPOs, if you're throwing the pass option to the slot side, the back, instead of being offset, is usually this side. The reason being is when you turn to the back, you have vision to this area where you're maybe throwing the RPO. Well, they're going to do it from the other side, but it's because of this defender's lack of width to expand out to Juju Smith-Schuster. Watch Mahomes get this football out. It could be awkward, uncomfortable.
Who cares?
But instead, it's right to the right shoulder of Juju Smith-Schuster. And on a 1st and 10, they get 12 yards basically on an easy play because it's uncovered, but only easy because Mahomes can kind of run an RPO and still get the ball out quickly and accurately for run after the catch.
Our producer and director are going to get mad at me because I don't know if we have videotape to support this, but explain for the folks at home that might not have heard Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth explain why the touchdown that Goff got on the very first drive for Detroit wasn't a touchdown.
So when you are under center, you can then not receive a pass.
Right.
So if Goff had lined up in shotgun,
would have been fine.
Then he's fine. He can go out for a pass. Or if he's under center, moves from under center, and then gets set, then he can go out and receive a pass because he wouldn't be lined up, under center right prior to the ball being snapped. So it's a little rule thing that, quite frankly, I don't know, based on the reaction from the Lions, if they were fully aware that was going to be a problem.
I feel like they do so much creative stuff. I think back to what happened a couple years ago down at Dallas, where it's like they practice stuff, and I'm sure they would have vetted it, right? Because they're way too smart not to. But it was interesting in real time to see when it got called that they seemed to think it shouldn't have been.
Yeah, they were confused by it. I think, listen, I don't think Andy was confused by it because he was looking at it. They end up getting it right. What's interesting about that drive, 10 run plays and 2 trick plays, basically.
Right.
That was Detroit's plan.
And this was a night where clearly both sides are not going to settle for 3 if they don't have to, and they're going to go for it on 4th downs. And really, it ends up being a 13-point game. But as much as anything, it's that Detroit missed a couple of chances. You get 3 instead of 6, and they missed a 4th down that was huge in the middle there. And I think really that's the difference in this game, isn't it?
Margin for error. You go play a really good team in their building. The margin for error is small. And so you just think about some of the mistakes. This one here, if Goff just gets set for 1 second, not behind the center, that's 7 points, not 3. There's a difference there. So when you think of the drop by Amon-Ra St. Brown on 4th down, look, they blitzed them. They had a great call on. The ball was right at his belt. Should catch it. You get a PI or a defensive holding call, on 3rd down that keeps Kansas City on the field. It could just be 3 plays that don't go your way. That really can be the difference in the football game.
One last quick thought on this. We talked about it with Travis a little bit. And you and I, as we watch this, you think about the personnel groupings and the options that Reed and the Chiefs have. And you add Rashee Rice to that. And this team that looked, wow, I don't know what's wrong. It's going to look like a completely different team, aren't they?
Well, and I think they're way better than they were a year ago. Up front, skill positions, all of it. So,
and Rashee Rice is another magnifier, just another huge option, and the best wide receiver they've got.
The Kansas City Chiefs are back, baby. And what a comeback it was. After weeks of doubters whispering that maybe the Chiefs had lost their spark, Travis Kelce and his boys silenced every critic in the loudest way possible. With a final score of 30-17 against the Detroit Lions, the Chiefs reminded the world exactly who they are, champions through and through. But as much as the night was about football, touchdowns, and tactics, something else, someone else, had the entire stadium buzzing. Yes, Taylor Swift was back. From the moment cameras caught a glimpse of her walking into the VIP suite, fans inside Arrowhead went wild. Tay looked effortlessly radiant, casual yet stunning, that signature smile lighting up the box as she waved at cheering fans below. Dressed in a red Chiefs jacket and subtle gold hoops, she looked every bit the proud fiancé cheering on her man. And you could tell Travis knew she was there. Every time he made a play, Every time the crowd roared, there was that spark, that signature Travis Kelce grin that fans have come to know so well. It's the same grin that says, "Yeah, my girl's watching." When the game ended with a glorious 30-17 win, it was time for the usual ESPN post-game interviews. The team's captain, the man of the hour, Travis Kelce, was called up. You could almost feel the energy shift as he stepped up to the mic, his helmet tucked under his arm, sweat glistening under the stadium lights. The reporter began with the usual congratulations, praising him for the incredible win, the teamwork, and his leadership. Travis, humble as ever, nodded with a grin, giving credit to Coach Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes for keeping the strategy tight. "Man, Coach drew up some genius plays out there," he said. "Pat was on fire tonight." The boys played their hearts out. But it didn't take long for the conversation to take a more personal turn. With a mischievous smile, the reporter leaned in and said, "Before we go into all the technical talk, Travis, congratulations are in order on your engagement. Fans are thrilled for you and Taylor. How does it feel knowing she was back in the suite tonight watching you crush it on the field?" And just like that, the internet went crazy. You could see Travis' face light up, that familiar warmth in his eyes that only Taylor seems to bring out. He chuckled softly, rubbing the back of his neck before saying, "Man, it feels amazing. She's always been my #1 supporter. She knows how much I love this game, and I'm just happy she could make it out tonight." It was short, it was simple, but it was real. That kind of love, the kind you can see, doesn't need a whole speech. Just the way he said "my #1 supporter" was enough to send Swifties into meltdown mode on social media. Within minutes, Twitter, or should we say X, was flooded with clips of the interview. Comments poured in. He said she's waiting for him like loudly crying face, loudly crying face, loudly crying face, boyfriend of the year. Can we talk about how proud Taylor looked in that suite? That woman is in love. Travis always finds a way to make it about her, even when he's the star. That's love. But the cherry on top came moments later. As the interviewer started to thank him for his time, Travis, with that signature grin, interrupted playfully saying, "She's waiting for me so we can leave together. Can we wrap this up?" The reporter burst out laughing, and even the camera crew couldn't hide their smiles. The clip ended with both of them chuckling, and Travis walking off toward the tunnel, helmet in hand, swagger on full display, ready to meet his girl. And somewhere in that VIP suite, you could just imagine Taylor watching it all unfold, laughing to herself, maybe even shaking her head with that playful grin she gets when Travis says something cheeky. Because if there's one thing the world has learned about Tayvis by now, it's that their love is real, fun, and beautifully unfiltered. As fans pointed out, this wasn't just about football, it was about balance. Travis Kelce, the fiercest competitor on the field, and Taylor Swift, the most celebrated artist of her generation, somehow managed to find grounding in each other. Between stadium lights and spotlight tours, they've built something that feels genuine, a connection that's strong enough to survive all the chaos fame brings. Later that night, fans spotted the couple leaving Arrowhead together, Taylor slipping her hand into his as they made their way out through the players' tunnel. Travis, still in partial uniform, looked every bit the proud man who'd just conquered the game and won the girl. The cameras captured that moment. A quick exchange of smiles, his protective arm around her shoulder, her head tilting toward him, and the photo immediately went viral. "Power couple energy," one fan wrote. "They're the real-life fairy tale we all needed," another added. And maybe that's exactly what makes them so special. In a world full of distractions, drama, and speculation, Travis and Taylor just get each other. He gives her a world of warmth, laughter, and football chaos, and she gives him peace, inspiration, and that kind of love that makes even the toughest athlete blush like a teenager. So yeah, the Chiefs bounced back, but more importantly, they reminded us of what passion, focus, and love can do when they all come together. And as for Travis, he walked off that field not just a winner, but a man heading home to the woman who's been cheering for him since day one. Because sometimes, the best victory isn't just what happens under the stadium lights, it's who's waiting for you when the game is over. Red Heart American football sparkles.